Hello everyone. Today I'll be reviewing the Karin Calico GTF based on the Toyota Celica GT4. It was produced from 1994 to 1999. The Calico is in the sports class. It has a price of 1.9 million with a trade price of 1.4. It features very good customization as you can see here from different eras, different styles as well. If you want to do a rally build, you can do that with this car. If you want to do a sports build, you can make it look like a vehicle that came straight out of Midnight Club. You can do a lot of stuff. But there are some issues with the customization. However, the last parts are a bit glitched out, so it kind of spins around weirdly. So keep that in mind. It doesn't really affect the customization process, but it's a bit annoying. As you can see, the way it kind of reacts. But for this, I wanted to do the vented splitter. The rear, you also get a lot to play with the body kits. You'll also be able to do singular exhaust, dual exhaust, although it didn't really quite translate well to what I wanted to do, so I had to put on dual exhaust for this one. You could also play around with the engine model since this is a tuner vehicle from 2021. The 2021 Tuners DLC. So it's already been in the game for a while. The details are still pretty spectacular. Some bits are, however, reused, such as the strut braces. This can be found in a few other vehicles. But it's not a big deal. It still looks alright if you choose any of these options. And now for the exhaust, of course, you can have a singular. You could have a dual, whatever you want. You can make them big. With this body kit, it does look a bit awkward, unfortunately. But it's not really a big deal. So I chose the universal exhausts. And for the fenders, you could of course put a wide body if you want to do that. If you want to go for a rally look, which the Celicas did have did participate in those type of races, Toyota more specifically. You could really go all out if you want to do that, or if you want to make a replica of those models. You can put hood catches, but I do not recommend this because it keeps the hood permanently shut if you choose this option. And now for the hoods themselves, these options are really good. You can make it look like the base model. You could make it look very custom. You could even go for the rally build, as I've mentioned before. Whoever made this car really did their research, and I really appreciate that. It's very well done. And for the interior, of course, you can do your usual color change on this type of vehicle. You can change whatever you want. If you don't want it, you can just choose any type of dash or whatever you want. The door options here, they are also reused, but it's not a big deal. So are the seats. If you want to change the seats, of course, you can change that. These options are not unique to this car. You can even change the wheels and then the dials, which I'll get to later. For this one, I feel like it was better to change it to something else, to the Apex Basic. I felt like it looked a bit better than the stock one. Of course, you got your usual roll cage options. If you wish to do that, you can do that. They do not affect your visibility or anything. They fit the car very well too. There's no issues with the fitment either. Of course, you even have your stripe options here in liveries as well. These are all very well done. I'm not the type of guy to put on liveries, but if that's your thing, you can do that with this car. They work on it very well. The tribal halftone, that one is pretty out there. I find it a bit tacky, but I don't know, maybe someone out there likes it. So is a purple halftone. And the rest of the liveries here are just based on the real life rally builds. I'm sure if any of you know more about this, you could let me know in the comments. As I said, these liveries are inspired from real life vehicles, race models. I still have the last one unlocked since after like 3 years, I guess I didn't grind it enough to have them all unlocked. But it's not a big deal. I'm not really into it. Of course, for your mirrors, you have your usual secondary and your carbon. I'll just leave that stock. The mud guards, you could do that as well. This car, I'm sure, has no problem with off roading if that's what you plan to do. It is all wheel drive as well. For this car, I mean, I would have loved to go for something a bit more basic, like a black, but I feel like a metallic red would look better on this car. It was a bit difficult to kind of choose. I was between like a red or like a Torino red or any other red options. But here in the footage, you'll see what I settled on eventually. Formula red looked alright, but I feel like it was a bit too bright. I wanted something that was a bit more in between. Actually, I take that back. Formula red is a bit darker, but I wanted something that was a bit lighter, but not too dark, not too light, just in between. The secondary only makes changes if you choose like a secondary mirror or a secondary hood. It doesn't really affect much if you don't have anything secondary. So as you can see, nothing really is being changed. For the trim color, it does make some slight changes on the interior, on the doors, on the seats, but I'll just leave it stock. For this part, you can of course change it to any color you want, but I'll just rather leave it white. And for the roof, I mean, you have a lot of options here to play with as well. You can go carbon, primary, secondary. You get like a bit of everything. You like scoops, of course you can add scoops. If you want to make like a 2000s build, I mean, you can go right ahead and do that. Really, with this car, you can probably make like 2 or 3 builds out of this. I mean, you have a lot to work with. For the skirts here, some of them are not well done, as you'll see in a bit. The primary sports skirt doesn't look like it's tacked on correctly. It looks like it's floating. It seems very loose. But the rest of the options are pretty solid, depending on what you want to do. This part was a bit difficult as well to see what would match with the rest of the body kit I was going for. The primary extension skirts to me seemed a bit like they sticked out a bit too much. The performance skirts looked alright. The secondary ridge looked like they stick out a bit too much. The primary GT looks good, but I feel like it's a bit out there too. Maybe that version would look better, but I just settled for the primary street skirts. It looked a bit more subtle. Even though that really isn't my intention with this car, but I don't want it to look uh, too over the top, too tacky. Of course, you have your usual spoiler options. If you want to put a ducktail, you can do that. You want a bigger wing, of course you can do that. An even bigger wing, to reference the real life Toyota Celica Rally model. If you want something aftermarket, of course you got that here. What I chose is a secondary stock because for some reason the stock spoiler doesn't add traction, so I have to change it. So it's a really weird coding type of thing that Rockstar does. The suspension unfortunately has a little bit of camber, but I'm sure this won't bother most of you, like it kind of did with me, because I'm not a fan of camber. It kind of ruins the car a bit to me, or for me. And for the trunk, you have your carbon and then your secondary as well. So if you want to make like a very light type of build, of course you can do that. For the wheels, I decided to leave these stock. I love how the stock wheels look. Um, these are not similar to the real life production model, but I feel like it did match that aftermarket look that I was going for very well. Of course, I'll do the usual window tints here, and then I'll get the car out, and then I'll talk more about it there. A quick discussion of the details and the performance, and that's it. The texture quality is acceptable, and the detail is great. As you can see, the timing belt there spins. The engine model itself looks pretty good. The only issue is that the metal bits around the engine are a bit lower quality, but that's my only complaint. The interior is reused in a few other models, but it fits this vehicle quite well. Um, I do not recall if it's close to the real life Celica, but it still looks quite fitting for that era. The whole model is just very well done. I could tell whoever made this put a lot of passion into it. It has a lot of details, as you can see. It even has an antenna. It has the windshield wipers up there in the back as well for this particular model. Even those little keyholes as well. I feel like I did a good job with the color as well, the metallic red, and then leaving the stock wheels on, because those look pretty good on this model. Speed and handling are both great. This car is a very excellent choice for races. I strongly recommend this. In a straight line, it does very well. It's very capable. It handles the corners very well. It doesn't spin out as easily. This car really offers a lot for you, especially if you buy it on discount as well. If you are tight on cash, if you don't really like spending like I do, I mean, this car is perfect. If you see it on discount on 40%, 30%, whatever it is, I strongly recommend this. Especially if you participate in the Price Right Challenge races. It's all-wheel drive as well, so that gives it a lot more grip. Unlike other muscle cars and sports cars that are rear-wheel drive, this just handles itself very well. It's very pleasant to drive, and I really hope you found my review useful. And as always, thanks for watching.